The history of the AIDS epidemic is a story of immense tragedy, courage, and resilience. Among the many who succumbed to the disease were celebrated artists, activists, and icons who not only shaped their industries, but also left an indelible mark on society. Their lives, talents, and struggles remain a testament to the human spirit as they face the dual challenges of a devastating illness and a society riddled with stigma and misunderstanding. Here are the stories of 25 famous gay celebrities who died of AIDS, a reflection of their legacies and the complex tapestry of their lives. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. 1. Rock Hudson, Hollywood's first major star to publicly face AIDS. Rock Hudson, a towering figure in Hollywood during its golden age, was known for his leading roles in classics such as Pillow Talk and Giant. Handsome, charismatic, and exuding the quintessential charm of a matinee idol, Hudson epitomized the ideal of masculinity on screen. However, his personal life was marked by a carefully guarded secret. He was gay in an era when homosexuality could ruin careers. In 1985, Hudson shocked the world by announcing that he was battling AIDS, becoming the first major Hollywood star to publicly confront the disease. His revelation brought AIDS into mainstream conversation at a time when the epidemic was largely stigmatized and ignored. Hudson's struggle with the illness and subsequent death at the age of 59 became a catalyst for change, prompting increased awareness and funding for AIDS research. His close friendship with actress Doris Day and the emotional scenes of her standing by him in his final months touched millions. Hudson's public acknowledgement of his diagnosis also spurred celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor to champion AIDS activism. Taylor would go on to establish the American Foundation for AIDS Research (AMFAR), a legacy directly tied to Hudson's brave disclosure. Though his death was a tragedy, it ignited a movement that saved countless lives and humanized the faces of those affected by the epidemic. 2. Freddie Mercury, a musical legend silenced too soon. Freddie Mercury, the flamboyant and electrifying frontman of Queen, was one of the greatest performers the world has ever known. With a vocal range that spanned 4 octaves and a stage presence that could captivate stadiums, Mercury led Queen to global superstardom with hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You, and Somebody to Love. His artistry defied convention, and his identity as a gay man was an intrinsic part of his unique spirit. Mercury's diagnosis of AIDS in the late 1980s remained a private matter for much of his life. It wasn't until the day before his death on November 24, 1991, that he publicly acknowledged his battle with the disease. His death at the age of 45 sent shockwaves through the music world and underscored the devastating reach of the epidemic. Queen's iconic tribute concert for Mercury in 1992 brought together a constellation of stars, including Elton John, David Bowie, and George Michael, to raise funds and awareness for AIDS. Mercury's legacy endures not only in his music, but also in the way he inspired the LGBTQ+ community to embrace their true selves. His bravery, talent, and contributions to the arts remain unparalleled, and his story continues to resonate with those affected by HIV/AIDS. 3. Rudolf Nureyev, ballet's first global superstar. Rudolf Nureyev, often hailed as one of the greatest ballet dancers of all time, revolutionized the art form with his unparalleled talent and dramatic flair. Born in the Soviet Union, Nureyev defected to the West in 1961, making headlines around the world. His virtuosity on stage, combined with his fiery personality and striking good looks, earned him both acclaim and controversy. Nureyev's sexuality was an open secret within the dance world, and his relationships with men were as passionate as his performances. In the 1980s, Nureyev began to exhibit symptoms of AIDS, but he continued to perform and choreograph despite his declining health. He fought valiantly against the disease, determined not to let it define his career or his life. He succumbed to complications from AIDS in 1993 at the age of 54, leaving behind a legacy that transformed ballet. Nureyev's performances were celebrated for their emotional depth and technical brilliance, and his influence extended far beyond dance. He challenged traditional gender roles within ballet, elevating male dancers to new heights of artistry and prominence. His courage in the face of illness and his refusal to hide his identity resonate as a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit. 4. Keith Haring, the artist who painted for change. Keith Haring's vibrant graffiti-inspired art became synonymous with the cultural zeitgeist of the 1980s. With bold lines, vivid colors, and universal symbols, Herring created works that address social issues such as inequality, racial injustice, and the AIDS epidemic. His art was accessible and powerful, resonating with audiences from New York streets to the walls of prestigious galleries. As an openly gay man, Herring used his platform to advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and AIDS awareness. His diagnosis of AIDS in 1988 only intensified his commitment to activism. He established the Keith Haring Foundation to support organizations dedicated to AIDS research and education, ensuring that his art would continue to make an impact long after his death. Haring passed away in 1990 at the age of 31, a heartbreaking loss for the art world and beyond. His iconic works, such as The Radiant Baby and his mural Crack is Whack, remain cultural touchstones, celebrated for their joyful energy and poignant messages. Haring's life and work serve as a testament to the power of art as a force for social change, reminding us of the urgency to fight for a world free of stigma and inequality. 5. Liberace, a glittering icon with a private battle. Liberace, the dazzling pianist and entertainer, was one of the most recognizable figures of his time. Known for his extravagant costumes, rhinestone-covered pianos, and flamboyant stage presence, Liberace captivated audiences with his unique blend of classical music and showmanship. His larger-than-life persona masked a deeply private individual who kept his sexuality hidden from the public eye. Liberace's struggle with AIDS was shrouded in secrecy, reflecting the societal pressures of his era. Despite rumors about his health, Liberace denied his illness until his death in 1987 at the age of 67. His passing, surrounded by tabloid speculation, highlighted the immense stigma faced by those living with AIDS, particularly within the LGBTQ+ community. Though his life was marked by secrecy, Liberace's impact on entertainment and culture remains undeniable. He broke barriers as one of the first openly flamboyant performers in mainstream media, paving the way for future generations of LGBTQ+ artists. His death was a reminder of the destructive power of silence and the need for compassion and understanding in addressing the AIDS crisis. 6. Anthony Perkins, a brilliant actor's tragic end. Anthony Perkins, best known for his chilling portrayal of Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, was a gifted actor whose talent earned him critical acclaim and a place in Hollywood history. His boyish charm and nuanced performances captivated audiences, and he seamlessly transitioned between theater, television, and film. However, Perkins lived much of his life in secrecy regarding his sexuality, a choice shaped by the intense societal pressure of his time. In the early 1990s, Perkins was diagnosed with AIDS, a revelation he kept hidden from the public until shortly before his death in 1992 at the age of 60. His battle with the disease was a private one, reflecting the stigma and fear surrounding AIDS in that era. Despite his efforts to keep his illness quiet, his passing shed light on the devastating impact of the epidemic within the entertainment industry. Perkins' career and legacy remain a testament to his artistic brilliance, but his death serves as a reminder of the countless lives lost to AIDS. His decision to reveal his diagnosis posthumously also underscored the importance of raising awareness and fighting stigma, a message that continues to resonate today. 7. Pedro Zamora, a reality TV pioneer and AIDS educator. Pedro Zamora rose to prominence as one of the first openly gay men living with AIDS to appear on television. Cast in MTV's The Real World San Francisco in 1994, Zamora used the platform to educate a generation about HIV/AIDS, challenging misconceptions and advocating for safe sex. His candor, courage, and charisma captivated viewers, and his on-screen relationship with Sean Sasser provided rare and vital representation of same-sex love and partnership. Zamora's openness about his diagnosis and his activism transformed him into a powerful voice in the fight against AIDS. He conducted speaking engagements across the United States, sharing his story with young people and promoting awareness about prevention. Tragically, Zamora's health deteriorated rapidly during the filming of The Real World, and he passed away in November 1994 at the age of 22, just hours after the final episode aired. Zamora's life and work left an indelible impact, helping to shift public perceptions of HIV/AIDS and LGBTQ+ individuals. His story remains a cornerstone of AIDS education and a powerful example of how personal courage can create meaningful social change. 8. Tom Fogerty, rock music's quiet revolutionary. Tom Fogerty, a founding member of Creedence Clearwater Revival, was a talented rhythm guitarist whose work contributed to the band's iconic sound, while his younger brother John Fogerty often took the spotlight as the group's lead singer and primary songwriter. Tom's contributions were integral to hits like Proud Mary and Bad Moon Rising. After leaving the band in 1971, he pursued a solo career, releasing several albums that showcased his understated musical talent. Fogerty's battle with AIDS stemmed from a blood transfusion he received during back surgery in the 1980s. The procedure unknowingly exposed him to the virus, and he passed away in 1990 at the age of 48. His death highlighted the tragic reality of the AIDS crisis, which extended beyond the LGBTQ+ community and affected people from all walks of life. Though Tom Fogerty's legacy is often overshadowed by Creedence Clearwater Revival's larger narrative, his contributions to rock music remain significant. His life and untimely death serve as reminders of the far-reaching impact of the AIDS epidemic and the importance of advancements in medical safety and awareness. 9. Robert Mapplethorpe, a visionary photographer. Robert Mapplethorpe was a groundbreaking photographer whose provocative and often controversial work pushed the boundaries of art and sexuality. His stark black and white images captured themes of identity, sensuality, and power, exploring the complexities of the human experience. Through portraits, floral still lifes, and depictions of New York's underground BDSM scene, Mapplethorpe challenged societal norms and redefined contemporary art. Diagnosed with AIDS in the late 1980s, Mapplethorpe faced his illness with unflinching determination. He continued to create until his death in 1989 at the age of 42, leaving behind a body of work that remains both influential and divisive. Shortly before his death, he established the Robert Mapplethorpe Foundation to support AIDS research and the arts, ensuring his legacy would contribute to the causes he cared about most. Mapplethorpe's life and career embody the transformative power of art, and his story is a testament to resilience and authenticity. His photographs continue to inspire and provoke, keeping his voice alive in conversations about art, identity, and the human condition. 10. Michael Bennett, a visionary of the Broadway stage. Michael Bennett, the genius behind the groundbreaking Broadway musical A Chorus Line, revolutionized theater with his innovative choreography and storytelling. Born in Buffalo, New York, Bennett began his career as a dancer before transitioning to choreography and directing. His work on A Chorus Line, which explored the lives and dreams of dancers auditioning for a Broadway show, won 9 Tony Awards and the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, cementing his place in theater history. Bennett was diagnosed with AIDS in the late 1980s and succumbed to complications from the disease in 1987 at the age of 44. Despite his relatively short life, his impact on the world of musical theater was profound, with his works influencing generations of performers and creators. Bennett's death occurred during a time when many in the theater community were grappling with the devastating effects of the epidemic, underscoring the need for compassion, understanding, and action. His legacy lives on through his contributions to Broadway, which continue to inspire audiences and performers alike. Bennett's story is a poignant reminder of the immense talent lost to AIDS and the enduring power of art to connect and heal. 11. Klaus Nomi, the avant-garde countertenor. Klaus Nomi was a truly unique artist whose otherworldly voice and futuristic persona left an indelible mark on the world of music and performance art. Born Klaus Sperber in Germany, Nomi moved to New York City in the 1970s, where he became a fixture of the East Village's experimental art scene. Known for his extraordinary countertenor voice, which blended opera with new wave and pop, Nomi mesmerized audiences with his theatrical performances, often dressed in surreal, space-age costumes. Nomi's career was brief but impactful, marked by collaborations with artists such as David Bowie. His performance with Bowie on Saturday Night Live in 1979 brought his distinctive style to a wider audience. Unfortunately, Nomi was diagnosed with AIDS in the early 1980s when the epidemic was still poorly understood and shrouded in stigma. He passed away in 1983 at the age of 39, becoming one of the first prominent figures in the arts to succumb to the disease. Nomi's life and work remain a symbol of artistic innovation and resilience. His ability to blend classical and contemporary influences was groundbreaking, and his legacy continues to inspire musicians and performance artists. His tragic death highlighted the vulnerability of creative communities during the AIDS crisis and the urgent need for compassion and action. 12. Willi Smith, the revolutionary fashion designer. partner Willie Smith was a trailblazing fashion designer who redefined the industry with his concept of street couture. Known for blending high fashion with accessible, everyday style, Smith's designs celebrated inclusivity, diversity, and comfort. As the founder of Willie Wear, one of the most successful African-American-owned fashion brands of its time, Smith was a visionary who anticipated the rise of streetwear as a dominant force in global fashion. Smith's creative vision extended beyond clothing. He collaborated with artists, filmmakers, and musicians to produce immersive fashion experiences. His sudden death in 1987 at the age of 39 due to complications from AIDS shocked the fashion world and underscored the devastating impact of the epidemic on creative industries. Willie Smith's influence on fashion remains profound. His commitment to making high-quality, stylish clothing accessible to all challenged industry norms and paved the way for future generations of designers. His story is a powerful reminder of the vibrant talents lost to AIDS and the importance of continuing his legacy of inclusivity and innovation. 13. Alvin Ailey, a pioneer of modern dance. Alvin Ailey, one of the most influential figures in modern dance, revolutionized the art form with his groundbreaking choreography and his commitment to showcasing the African-American cultural experience. Born in Texas, Ailey founded the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in 1958, which became a beacon of diversity and artistic excellence. His works, such as Revelations, are celebrated for their emotional depth, technical brilliance, and celebration of Black identity. Ailey's life was shaped by both his artistic achievements and his struggles with his sexual identity in a society that often marginalized LGBTQ+ individuals. Diagnosed with AIDS in the 1980s, he chose to keep his illness private, reflecting the stigma surrounding the disease at the time. Ailey passed away in 1989 at the age of 58, leaving behind a legacy that transformed the world of dance. The Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater continues to thrive as one of the most respected dance companies in the world. Ailey's work remains a testament to the power of art to transcend boundaries and celebrate the human spirit. His story underscores the devastating toll of the AIDS epidemic on the arts community and the enduring importance of his vision and contributions. 14. Sylvester, the disco queen with a voice of gold. Sylvester James Jr., known mononymously as Sylvester, was a groundbreaking disco and soul singer whose flamboyant style and powerful voice made him a cultural icon. With hits like You Make Me Feel Mighty Real and Dance Disco Heat, Sylvester became a symbol of liberation and joy during the height of the disco era. His performances, often featuring glittering costumes and dynamic energy, celebrated his identity as a gay man and challenged societal norms. Sylvester was diagnosed with AIDS in the late 1980s and passed away in 1988 at the age of 41. Before his death, he used his platform to advocate for AIDS awareness and LGBTQ+ rights, speaking openly about his experiences and urging others to confront the epidemic with compassion and action. Sylvester's legacy continues to resonate, both for his contributions to music and his role as a pioneer in visibility and advocacy. His music remains a symbol of joy, freedom, and resilience, celebrated by fans and musicians alike. Sylvester's courage and authenticity continue to inspire, reminding us of the power of individuality and the importance of fighting for a world free of stigma and discrimination. 15. Leigh Bowery, the outrageous club icon and artist. Leigh Bowery was a larger-than-life figure whose influence on fashion, art, and performance remains legendary. An Australian-born designer, performer, and club promoter, Bowery became a central figure in London's underground club scene in the 1980s. Known for his extravagant and often shocking costumes, Bowery blurred the lines between fashion and performance, challenging conventional notions of beauty and identity. Bowery's work extended beyond nightlife. He collaborated with visual artists such as Lucian Freud and inspired countless designers and performers with his boundary-pushing creativity. Diagnosed with AIDS in the early 1990s, Bowery continued to perform and create until his death in 1994 at the age of 33. His final days were marked by a fearless commitment to his art, and he remained a symbol of defiance and self-expression. Leigh Bowery's legacy lives on in the world of fashion and performance art, where his influence can still be seen in the work of designers like Alexander McQueen and performers like Lady Gaga. His story is a testament to the power of creativity and the enduring impact of those who dare to challenge norms and celebrate individuality. Bowery's life and death remind us of the human cost of the AIDS epidemic and the need to continue advocating for awareness, research, and support. 16. Howard Ashman, the lyricist behind Disney's Renaissance. Howard Ashman was a gifted lyricist and playwright whose work helped usher in a new golden age for Disney animation. Partnering with composer Alan Menken, Ashman crafted unforgettable songs for The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. His witty and poignant lyrics brought depth and emotion to beloved characters, cementing his legacy as one of the most influential figures in musical theater and animation. Ashman was diagnosed with AIDS in the late 1980s, but he continued to work tirelessly even as his health declined. His illness was largely kept private, with only close collaborators aware of his condition. Ashman passed away in 1991 at the age of 40, just months before the release of Beauty and the Beast. The film was dedicated to his memory, with a poignant tribute in the closing credits. To our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul, we will be forever grateful. Ashman's contributions to Disney and musical theater transformed storytelling and animation, and his legacy endures through the timeless songs that continue to inspire audiences of all ages. His death serves as a reminder of the immense creative talent lost to AIDS. 17. Fela Kuti, the Afrobeat pioneer. Fela Kuti, a Nigerian musician and political activist, was the founder of Afrobeat, a genre that combined traditional African music with jazz, funk, and highlife. Known for his electrifying performances and fearless activism, Fela used his music to address social and political issues in Nigeria, challenging corruption, oppression, and inequality. His work resonated worldwide, inspiring both musicians and activists. Fela's openness about his sexuality and lifestyle made him a controversial figure in his conservative society. In the late 1990s, it was revealed that he had been diagnosed with AIDS, a revelation that brought attention to the epidemic in Africa, where the disease was often misunderstood and stigmatized. Fela passed away in 1997 at the age of 58, leaving behind a legacy of revolutionary music and activism. Fela Kuti's influence on music and culture remains profound. His work as a pioneer of Afrobeat and a voice for social justice continues to inspire generations of artists and activists. His death highlighted the need for greater awareness and education about AIDS in Africa and beyond. 18. Perry Ellis, the icon of modern American sportswear. Perry Ellis was a groundbreaking fashion designer whose work defined American sportswear in the 1980s. Known for his clean lines, bold patterns, and innovative use of fabrics, Ellis created a new aesthetic that was both sophisticated and approachable. His eponymous brand became synonymous with effortless elegance, earning him multiple awards and a devoted following. Ellis was diagnosed with AIDS during a time when the disease was highly stigmatized, and he faced immense pressure to keep his illness private. He passed away in 1986 at the age of 46, marking a devastating loss for the fashion industry. His death brought attention to the impact of AIDS on the creative community and underscored the urgency of fighting the epidemic. Ellis's influence on fashion remains significant, and his commitment to innovation continues to inspire designers. His story serves as a reminder of the many talented individuals lost to AIDS and the importance of continuing the fight against the disease. 19. Isaac Asimov, the prolific science fiction author. Isaac Asimov, one of the most celebrated science fiction writers of all time, was renowned for his imaginative works, including the Foundation and Robot series. Asimov's writing explored themes of technology, humanity, and the future, making him a central figure in the golden age of science fiction. His contributions extended beyond fiction. He wrote extensively on science, history, and philosophy, earning him a reputation as a brilliant polymath. Asimov contracted HIV through a blood transfusion during heart surgery in the early 1980s, a fact that was not widely known until after his death in 1992 at the age of 72. Though his life was not publicly defined by his diagnosis, his death brought attention to the risks of bloodborne transmission and the need for greater medical vigilance. Asimov's legacy as a writer and thinker continues to inspire, reminding us of the power of creativity and intellect to shape our understanding of the world. His story also reflects the broader impact of AIDS beyond the LGBTQ+ community, emphasizing the universal need for compassion and awareness. 20. Gia Karangi, the world's first supermodel. Gia Karangi, often referred to as the world's first supermodel, rose to fame in the late 1970s and early 1980s. With her striking beauty, unique look, and magnetic presence, Gia graced the covers of major magazines like Vogue and Cosmopolitan. She was a trailblazer in the modeling industry, paving the way for future generations of models. Gia's personal life was marked by struggles with addiction, which ultimately contributed to her exposure to HIV. Diagnosed with AIDS in the mid-1980s, Gia's career and health declined rapidly. She passed away in 1986 at the age of 26, one of the first prominent figures in fashion to succumb to the disease. Gia's life story has been the subject of documentaries and films, including the biographical drama Gia starring Angelina Jolie. Her legacy as a trailblazer in modeling and a cautionary tale about the dangers of addiction continues to resonate. Gia's death highlighted the devastating toll of AIDS on young lives and the need for greater education, support, and prevention efforts. 21. Peter Allen. The dynamic songwriter and performer Peter Allen was a charismatic singer, songwriter, and performer whose work brought vibrancy and emotion to the stage and screen. Born in Australia, Allen gained fame for his high-energy performances and poignant songwriting. He co-wrote hit songs such as I Honestly Love You for Olivia Newton-John and Arthur's theme Best That You Can Do, which won an Academy Award. Allen was a trailblazer for LGBTQ+ representation in the entertainment world. Known for his dynamic stage presence, he captivated audiences with hits like I Go to Rio and his autobiographical song Tenterfield Saddler. Diagnosed with AIDS in the early 1990s, Allen passed away in 1992 at the age of 48. His openness about his diagnosis was rare for the time and helped bring visibility to the disease's impact on the artistic community. Peter Allen's music and legacy endure as a testament to the power of authenticity and resilience. His life and death remind us of the transformative impact of those who dared to live boldly in the face of adversity. 22. Arthur Ashe, the tennis legend who fought for justice. Arthur Ashe was not only a trailblazing tennis champion, but also a passionate activist for social justice and AIDS awareness. As the first African-American man to win titles at Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open, Ashe broke racial barriers in a sport historically dominated by white players. His grace, skill, and sportsmanship made him an inspiration on and off the court. Ashe contracted HIV through a blood transfusion during heart surgery in the early 1980s. He revealed his diagnosis publicly in 1992, using his platform to raise awareness about the disease and advocate for compassion and understanding. Ashe passed away in 1993 at the age of 49, but his activism left an enduring impact. The Arthur Ashe Foundation for the Defeat of AIDS continues his work, emphasizing research and education. Ashe's courage in sharing his diagnosis at a time of intense stigma remains a powerful example of integrity and leadership, reminding the world of the importance of advocacy and compassion. 23. Reinaldo Arenas, the Cuban novelist who defied oppression. Reinaldo Arenas was a gifted Cuban novelist, poet, and playwright whose work explored themes of freedom, identity, and oppression. A dissident who faced persecution in Fidel Castro's Cuba for both his political views and his homosexuality, Arenas fled to the United States in 1980 during the Mariel boat lift. His autobiographical novel, Before Night Falls, chronicled his struggles with repression and his defiance in the face of adversity. Arenas was diagnosed with AIDS in the late 1980s, and his health declined rapidly. He took his own life in 1990 at the age of 47, leaving behind a note condemning the discrimination and suffering he had endured, but expressing hope for a better future. His work continues to resonate as a powerful critique of authoritarianism and a celebration of the human spirit. Arenas' life and writings highlight the intersection of art, identity, and resistance. His story serves as a reminder of the resilience of those who confront both personal and political challenges, and his contributions to literature remain vital to the global cultural canon. 24. Brad Davis, the star of Midnight Express. Brad Davis was a talented actor best known for his searing performance in the 1978 film Midnight Express, which earned him a Golden Globe Award. With his brooding good looks and intense charisma, Davis was a rising star in Hollywood, appearing in films like Querelle and television miniseries like Roots. Despite his professional success, Davis struggled with personal challenges, including addiction. Diagnosed with AIDS in 1985, Davis chose to keep his condition private for much of his life, fearing the stigma associated with the disease. He eventually spoke out about the need for compassion and understanding before his death in 1991 at the age of 41. His openness in his final years brought attention to the discrimination faced by those living with AIDS in the entertainment industry. Brad Davis's career and legacy serve as a poignant reminder of the human cost of the AIDS epidemic. His decision to break his silence about his illness contributed to a growing conversation about the importance of empathy and action in addressing the crisis. 25. Denholm Elliott, the acclaimed British actor. Denholm Elliott was one of Britain's most esteemed character actors, with a career spanning decades and featuring iconic roles in films like Raiders of the Lost Ark and A Room with a View. Known for his versatility and subtle performances, Elliott earned critical acclaim and multiple BAFTA awards for his work in theater, television, and film. Elliott was diagnosed with HIV in the late 1980s, and complications from AIDS claimed his life in 1992 at the age of 70. He maintained his professionalism and continued working until his health declined, embodying resilience in the face of illness. His death, though a significant loss for the acting community, brought attention to the impact of AIDS on older individuals and those outside the public eye. Denholm Elliott's career and courage continue to be celebrated. His ability to bring depth and humanity to his roles, even as he faced personal challenges, remains an inspiration to actors and audiences alike. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the impact of these celebrities' lives and legacies? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.